Ike.
Hello, everyone, and welcome once again to Wizard World Virtual Experiences as the crowd emojis wildly. Let me see all those emojis out there. Thank you for joining us. It's Tuesday evening. We have moved a majority of our free celebrity panels to the weekends, every Thursday through Sunday, to accommodate work and school schedules. And good luck to everyone who's returned to school and returned to work. But we want to have these fun rewatch parties. So if you missed it and you just want a shortened version of it, here is a quick half-hour version of the Escape to Witch Mountain panel featuring Kim Richards and Ike Eisenman and hosted by our very own Jerry Milani, everyone. And just as a reminder, video chats, if you're watching this live or watching a little bit later in the week, are still on sale and will happen this Friday, live one-on-one with these amazing stars. So check those out at Wizard World Vault and wizardworldvirtual.com. Video recorded messages, autographs, and those one-on-one video chats. But here you go, an edited version of the Escape to Witch Mountain panel. Feel free to chat away in the comments. I'll be watching and answering all your questions and nerding out with all of you. Enjoy.
Well, Ike and Kim reunited once again here. We appreciate you being with us. Guys, tell us first, how much fun was it to be a teenager and be in these films?
Well, we weren't teenagers at
Almost
first.
teenagers, yeah.
We were chilled. We were kids. I was 10. And Ike was a little bit older, not too much, Ike.
No, about a year, only about a year and a half. We really were kids.
We were children, and it was always fun. You know, first of all, working for Disney was amazing. It was like a family, and working with the crew, first of all, it was like a family for me. I honestly can tell you, Frank, the cameraman, LaRue, the hairdresser. I mean, it became a real family. I was actually put under contract to Disney, and I was the only one put under contract to Disney as a child since Haley Mills when she was 10. So actually, it became a real family for me. And working with Ike, it just became, I don't know if you know this, but Ike and I started getting cast as brother and sister outside of Disney stuff. Hound of Hell, we became brother and sister.
Yeah, when we were teenagers, they cast us both as brother and sister, and the producers had no idea that we had done the Witch Mountain films together, which I found absolutely hilarious. So it was inevitable, I think, for the two of us, because we look so much alike, especially as kids, that we would be cast as brother and sister. But I have to say, my experiences at Disney as a child actor were overwhelmingly fun and incredible. And it had been a dream of mine, actually, when I first started in the business, to work for Disney. It was something that I was dying to do. And so I ended up getting the opportunity to co-star in Witch Mountain. It was just, it was overwhelming to me. And yeah, Kim and I had a blast. I mean, we it's so funny because we worked together so well that it was just seamless. I mean, from the day of the screen test to our first day on set, we just fell right into place and started having a great time. And yes, like Kim says, working for Disney is like working for a family. Because I also was put under contract with Disney for 3 years, which is why I did the subsequent roles I did about a couple weeks into shooting, which was even icing on the cake for me. So getting to know that I was going to get to work on more Disney projects was absolutely just so exciting for me.
Benny, TB86 has a question, and I was going to get to this, but since Benny asked first, maybe we'll start with this and we'll go to a couple other ones. He wants to know what it was like working with Bette Davis and Christopher Lee. And then we're going to talk about some of the other superstars that were in this with you, but start with Bette and Christopher.
I absolutely, yeah, because I got to spend more time with Bette and Christopher actually than Kim did, because we were almost shooting two separate movies. Our storylines split very early on, and she was hanging out, Tia was hanging out with the Earthquake Gang, and I had been not obviously, but I had been kidnapped and drugged and put on remote control by Christopher Lee. It was intimidating at first when Bette Davis was coming onto the set, because everyone was absolutely scared to death of her, because she had such a reputation for being difficult and demanding. And it really was kind of funny to me, because even by then, both Kim and I had worked with so many different people that we were nonplussed by it. But even I started to get a little bit concerned because of all the talk that was going on. And she came onto the set and within a matter of minutes, put me at ease because she was so funny. She had such a great sense of humor. And she and Christopher Lee used to just muck it up all the time. John Huff, the three of them were telling jokes, all old, movie stories that I wish I could have remembered. But being around all of that was absolutely incredible. And Christopher Lee is probably, he's just as daunting in person, although he's an incredibly sweet man. But man, a dry, very sharp wit, and I felt really privileged to just spend any time with them, let alone work with them. So I really had a wonderful time with both of them.
And like I said, they were on one and we were on the other. So our time working with her was different. And I did see that she had a wig. And so I was like, hey, come on. That's a wig, right? And she was like, seriously, there goes that kid again. I'm like, dude, what is wrong with this child? And I said, really, what color's your hair? What color's your hair? And she said, I'll tell you what. And some of the other kids were like, she said, if you can figure out what color my hair is, there'll be a gift for you. And I was like, are you serious? So no idea. I started sneaking into her dressing room of all the nerve. I mean, like now that I look back, how rude. So she would come in and get dressed and take off her. And I one day slipped in under her sofa and she took off her wig. And I jumped out. I'm surprised I didn't just scare the living. And she was like, I said, got it. I know, I got it. I don't want to tell you, but like
anyone can have Betty Davis stories. No one's going to have that Betty Davis story. You're the only one who's ever going to have that Betty Davis story. That's incredible.
And you know what she did? Because some of the other kids, I told them, so they were all trying to figure it out. And so since I figured out, she wrote me, and I still have it. She wrote me this beautiful letter. Only you had the nerve, basically. And so she gave me a beautiful watch and a letter that said, you earned it. You earned it. You got it. Yeah. And then she also told me when she was, when we were wrapping, she said to me, she got up on an apple box because she was tiny little lady. And she said, thank you. Pineapple bought the coffee. He used to bring, there was a man named Pineapple that used to bring the coffee and the donuts. And Frank was the cameraman and LaRue was the hairdresser. And I won't go through all the names, but she got up and she said, come. And so I stood next to her and she said, like one of these. And she said, thank you, Pineapple, for my coffee, because without my coffee, I'm not good in the morning. And thank you, Frank, for the camera, because without that, I don't look great. And she thanked the lighting man, and she thanked LaRue for her hair, and she thanked every single person. And when she got down, she said, do you understand? And I said, I do. And she said, we are nothing without everyone. It takes all of us, because without my lighting, I don't look pretty. And without my coffee, I'm not good in the morning. And I learned that from her, and I was so grateful. And I've always been that way moving forward. There's not a day that I don't leave a shoot and say, no matter how tired I am, thank you, everyone. Thank you for your time. Thank you for your help. Gosh, thank you. Thank you. And it was something that I took from Betty that she taught to me. And what an honor, what a grateful. I've worked with some of the best, some of the legends, and it's stuff that I took from them. Betty taught me that specifically. And right. Christopher, of course, what an amazing man. I did not have the experience that I had. I did get to spend time with him. Looked so stern and tall, but what a kind man. And but I had a closer relationship with Betty that I got to, develop. So, and
I do need to, for myself and for fans who I know are interested, I do need to ask you about Ray Milland, because Ray Milland, me, that's Hollywood classic also. What Ike and Kim, Ike, start with, what was your interaction with him? And did you know like his stature in the business before he got on set?
I was very aware of him because I watched a lot of television, and his older films were on all the time. So he for me was kind of like he was my first major movie star that I met, and he really was like studio royalty. He had this air about him that was like a movie star. He smoked a cigarette like a movie star, even when he was on a break, and he walked, and he was extremely tall. So Kim and I were like these tiny little munchkins next to him, but he was very austere, extremely professional, and incredibly gracious, and was complimentary of both Kim and I and our work on the set, which I thought was incredible. And I didn't find it intimidating, even though I knew who he was. It was just very interesting to be around, these very, a powerful performer like him, and have him treat both Kim and I like equals. I mean, we're all professionals on set. That was the thing I found out. I realized about all of these stars that I worked with, and I was very grateful for. They never treated me like a child. I was always treated like another one of the adults, and that meant a great deal to me. So yeah, he was. And again, there's only a certain amount of time when we're on set we actually get to spend with these people. Working on Return from Witch Mountain, we had more time because, when you're a child actor in California, you have to do 3 hours of school on set every day, including the 4 or 5 hours of work you're putting in front of the camera. So pretty much the moment, if there's 10 or 15 minutes when you have a break, Kim and I had to go back to school, and Irene Burke was our teacher on Escaped Witch Mountain, who was an amazing woman, but we had to go back to school. So it's not like we got to, oops, my computer just went to sleep. Hey, wake up.
We see you.
Oh, okay, good. Awesome. Well, I couldn't see anything else. So here we are. Anyway, it limited our time with these people. So primarily, we would be working with them, and it was just a joyous experience. It really was. He was incredible.
So for me, Ray Milland, as you see him, as if you look at the scene, get me those kids, bring me those kids, right? And then you'd see like afterwards, and I remember the chairs sitting outside the big castle, or even like on the side, like different places. His stature was tall. I did not know who Ray Milland was. I didn't get to watch a lot of TV. I grew up, like Cincinnati. I worked a lot in my days. I didn't have a lot of days to watch TV. So I didn't really know who anybody was. And my mom never really, I think she always tried to keep me. She just never let me know a lot. So I think she didn't want to fill my head with any kind of intimidation, or just, I always had to have respect for all adults. So I didn't know who he was, but you could definitely tell he was a man of power, and so, but I always had respect for all adults. But he never showed anything, but even outside, you're like the ice cream, we have an ice cream. But yet he was so warm and fuzzy for me. To me, he just had a warmth about him. And I wouldn't say he treated me like an adult. I don't know. I guess that's Ike's take on that. I did not feel like he treated me like an adult. I felt like he treated me almost like a daughter, just very loving and very respectful. And I felt like he treated us as, yes, he's the legend. He's the powerhouse there. But there was an equal feeling as far as we're all there together. Another kind of Betty Davis kind of feeling, like we're all in this together. And yes, he's Ray Milland. Donald Pleasance, the same. He actually brought up, when we worked up Big North and up in Big Sur, and he brought his wife and his kids. And another one, he looks so, my goodness, get those kids. And yet he came with his wife and his kids. And off camera, he's sitting there like, have a seat on my lap. Super lovey-dovey, great guy. My dad and my sisters came up on occasions, because my mom was there, but my dad and my sisters were able to come a few times, and it's just something so warm and cozy about him too. Like, but they come off as, well, that's their job, but what they perceive, and yes, they are legends, and I feel so fortunate. But the way they treated me personally, I felt like an uncle, as my uncle. They were very kind and very warm. And I remember sitting at the table and they pounded their hands, and I was like, no, that's for you.
Yeah, talk about working with the animals. I mean, you worked with the bear, which we saw.
Bruno was like,
yeah. Tell me about working with the animals.
I thought Bruno was mine. I thought he was mine. I was like, get back, this is my bear.
There he is.
Yeah.
I
used to wash him on the weekends, give him baths. How did you feel about working with the bear?
Well, he was extraordinary to me because you would think you'd be a little scared or intimidated having to work right alongside something as massive as that, and of course potentially dangerous. But Bruno actually played Gentle Ben in the series from the 50s, 60s, and so he was an old studio bear, very professional, and actually in that shot that you just showed behind you a second ago, that was a kind of a semi-complicated little move we were doing where Kim and I were going along, and I was trying to convince her to send the bear away, and Bruno was supposed to walk up to us and stop between us, and then Tia talks to the bear and sends him off. But every single take, Bruno kept coming up and walking right between us and heading straight towards camera and not listening to his handlers, and it was really kind of funny and odd, and we couldn't figure out how to deal with it. And on the last take, the take they ended up using in the film, Bruno comes up, and you will see me in the film actually do this. He starts to keep moving up, and I just put my hand right on him, and I start petting him, and I literally pushed him, and he stopped at his mark, thankfully. And then we got to complete the take, and it was the only one that we could use because he just suddenly decided he didn't really want to cooperate. So sometimes that happens. Animals are, they say, W.C. Fields said, never work with animals or kids, because they're either one is not doing its job or the other's upstaging the other or something like that. And often that's, going on. Winky, there were several Winkies. There was a Winky that winked, that they had trained to wink. And then there was Winky, one Winky I worked with. I was kind of working
on a horse on Thunderbird.
Yeah, jumping on. Yeah. I had to rehearse for quite a bit, getting him to jump to me, and we'd gotten it down pat, and then all of a sudden the scene introduced the horse, and Kim and I are on the horse, and suddenly Winky was not happy about that. Yeah, but Winky jumped to me, and because the horse was there, he was freaked out and just dug his claws into me as deep as he could, hanging on, and it was just, it was crazy. It was crazy.
So
the dogs, that was a whole nother.
What?
Yeah, the dogs was a whole nother thing. I mean, you talk about just a wild group and they were completely playful. They were just having nothing but fun. There was nothing scary or intimidating about them at all.
Except having them chase you up the hill. You watch my face. They're like, kids.
Oh, I know you were scared. I remember you were scared.
Kids,
I remember you were scared.
They're like dogs. There's like 3 actions. Action 1, action A, action B, action C, kids go. And you watch me and I'm like, oh, never been so freaking scared in my life. And then Ike's like, it's okay, I'm holding it. I said, no, they're chasing. I'm so scared.
Did your roles, both of you, in the Witch Mountain film shape your belief or not belief about life outside of Earth?
Hey everybody, thanks for watching this. Don't forget about the one-on-one video chats happening this week.
I've always believed it. I always believe there's something else out there. How about you, Ike?
Well, I've always been fascinated by it. I would read books about aliens and UFO sightings and all of that stuff, because it was rather, there was a proliferation of material that you could consume to just, feed these ideas. And, of course I wanted to believe it, and getting to work on a movie where you are actually playing an alien from another planet that has these special powers was just beyond fun. I mean, reading the script for the first time was extraordinary to me, because I just thought, I love the idea. The idea is fascinating, and even though it's a Disney fantasy, it holds a lot more potential realities to play with in one's mind about what it would be like to have an alien culture among us if they look like us and hit themselves from us. So it's interesting.
Maybe you are one.
It's a lot of fun.
I just don't think there's any mistake, like in the fact that that movie was chosen for us. I believe that there is something out there. I think I've always felt something out there, and I'm a very spiritual person. I meditate a lot. I'm a Reiki practitioner. I just feel like, yes, there definitely is something out there, and I've always kind of felt that. And I just don't believe there's any mistakes of how this movie was chosen for myself, and that there's a reason. Just who I am. Nobody can. Some people can think there isn't, and some people can think it's crazy, but I believe there's definitely something out there.
What was it like? I mean, you guys did the original movie, and the original movie was fantastic, but then you guys had cameos in the race movie years later. What was it like being back into the series in this cameo that you had?
I was so excited that they were doing a remake or a reimagining, as they called it, and I remember getting the phone call from the director, Andy Fickman, asking me if I would like to participate, and I practically screamed into the phone, "Are you kidding? I would love to." And my very next question was, "Is Kim on board?" And he assured me that Kim was, and I thought the cameos they wrote for us were fantastic. Quite often, it seems almost awkward working in characters from original movies when they do remakes, and we got an opportunity to kind of play a version of ourselves that hinted at who we were. And if you actually hadn't seen the other films, it was okay, because our characters were still part of the plot, moving the story forward. So I had a blast, and I know Kim and I both had a very similar experience. When that first day of rehearsals, that we came in and met everybody, it was like a fan club, convention. Literally, the entire crew was almost fawning over both of us, and just talking about how much they loved the original films and how excited they were to have us on this one. And I found it overwhelming, really. I did. I had an absolute blast. It was so wonderful seeing and working with Kim again. And we just stepped right back into our mode, like we hadn't, like no time had gone by. So it was really, really a lot of fun for me.
And I have to say, before we started filming, I decided to go by and say hi. And when I first walked in, they were filming. It was kind of quiet. And when I walked in, all of a sudden it stopped. And then Andy said, "Hold on, everybody. I have something to say. This is Kim Richards." And he put me up on this thing. And I want you all to know, the reason you're here is because somebody did it right the first time. And I was like, "Oh my God." And everybody's like, "Yeah." And I was like, "Oh, I'm gonna cry. Oh my God." He said, "That's why we're all here today." And then Dwayne came over and he said, "I can't take you enough, really. Like, we're here." And I was like, You're the Rock, you're Dwayne." And that was one of the reasons I said, I wasn't even sure who, I didn't know the Rock name. But then that's how Andy also told me. He did the movie with the little girl, the Tooth Fairy, the little girl in the football. And I was like, "Oh my God, I know he is." It was just so nice. Like Ike said, everybody was so, "Oh, I'm like, you're the Rock. I love you." And Andy told me and I fell in love with everybody. And it was a great experience.
If you get introduced right away at the beginning of the movie to your powers, what power that your character had do you most wish that you had in real life?
Well, I already know I already know I can see and I can make people, I can talk to people. I know that. I got that. Sometimes I want to fly.
Oh yeah, yeah. Making things be able to telekinesis, being able to make things move with your mind that has fascinated me since before I did that film, and so I think that's something that would be pretty handy.
So Benny wanted to know if you guys on set ever pretended that you were using telepathy like you had in the movie.
I can
but
say
I do
no,
it with my
no.
kid.
For me,
I did it with my kids.
For me, no.
I used to say to my kids,
Apparently,
really?
yeah. Apparently, you do.
I'm telling you right now.
Hey, and if they're buying into it, you're doing a convincing job. It's fantastic.
And were you really playing the harmonica, Ike? Were you really playing that?
Oh my God. Thank you for asking that. No, I was blowing into it, blowing notes.
Good job.
I swear, when I got the part, I was such a serious kid that I was concerned because no one had asked me whether or not I could play the harmonica. And I thought I needed to learn. So my mother ended up taking me to a music store and I bought a harmonica. I used the little instructions inside the box and taught myself how to play Twinkle Twinkle Little Star. And I was terrible. I'm not musical. I have no musical ability. So I was so afraid the first time on set when I was going to have to quote unquote play something. And it turned out all they really wanted me to do was just blow into it and pretend. So that ended up being all I needed to do. So I got over that pretty quickly.
You did a good job. Come on.
Oh, well, thank you. I appreciate that.
Come on.
But
I was
yeah,
impressed.
at least it wasn't what I thought I needed to do. Yeah, it wasn't what I thought I needed to do. So
I mean, it
I was
wasn't like you
grateful.
were really blowing and making everything open and close, but you
Well, Dooley Wilson's not playing the piano in Casablanca. So if Dooley Wilson doesn't have to really play the piano, you're fine with just showing off doing your harmonica in
that's why they call it that's why they call it movie magic, whether it's real magic or whatever.
Magic. Ike and Kim, just last words from you guys.
Yeah, for me, I look forward to talking to you guys one-on-one. I think that's going to be a whole lot of fun. And I just want to say is for my part in all of this, from the autographs or the recordings or the chats, I'm donating a portion of my proceeds to the American Diabetes Association and the CARE Foundation, which is an amazing little, fairly small organization, but they provide service animals to many people with handicaps. And they're one of the only ones in the United States that actually provide service animals to children, specially trained to work with children with handicaps. So it's become very dear to my heart. And I just wanted to share that with you guys. So if you participate in any of this with me, you'll be participating in a couple of good causes as well. And again, I just want to thank you all so much. I mean, the fans, it has always impressed me how the fan base has loved and cared about these films. And they're sharing it. Many of you have shared it with your own children who have now become fans of the films as well. And it's created a real lasting legacy for both Kim and I in a really huge way. And I just want to tell you how grateful I am because I'm so excited and happy to be a part of it. Before I get too emotional, I'm going to throw it to Kim.
Oh, in the spirit of that, we put the goat up for you for now in the spirit of that donation.
For me, first, I just want to say thank you to all of you. When I say I love my fans, I am going to get emotional because I really love all of you. You've been so inspirational, so supportive of everything in my life. Sorry. And wait a minute here. I love all of you. I know this has been a tough year for people, everyone. And I just want to thank all the people on the front line. I want to thank doctors, nurses, firefighters, policemen, UPS, Amazon, people in the markets, everybody that's out there working hard. I'm in quarantine. I stay in quarantine. So my focus right now is to stay at home. I spend as much time I can with my family. And my thing right now is for all of you to stay safe and healthy. I work energetically. I do a lot of meditation. I'm a Reiki practitioner. I work every day. I'm focusing more on working energetically and growing, so I can continue to do my inner work, so that I can maybe one day open a place that I can share what I've learned to be in the place I'm at today. So I do a lot of work at home to grow inside, so that I can be the healthiest I can be for myself, for my family, for my fans, and for everybody. And I just want to send tons of love and light to all of you, and stay safe and healthy. And I love you all.
Hey everybody, thanks for watching that rewatch party, the Wizard World rewatch party of the Escape to Witch Mountain panel with Kim Richards and Ike Eisenman. That was from last Friday, but just so you know, those one-on-one chats, the video recorded messages and autographs are on sale throughout this week, and those one-on-one chats, once in a lifetime experience to hang out with both of those two, will be on Friday, October 2nd, so check that out. We'll be showing more of our panels tomorrow, so stay tuned for some of the voices of Disney and some of the stars of wrestling. And then we've got some cool panels coming up this weekend. So cast of October Faction will be here. And we've got Michael Uslan, the producer of all the Batman movies, plus some of the stars of those Batman movies coming up on Sunday. Thanks everybody for hanging out. We had folks checking out this rewatch party from Australia, Canada, Pennsylvania, Colorado, Oregon. So thank you all for hanging with me, Mike G, tonight. And we'll see you at the next rewatch party, at the next live panel at Wizard World Virtual Experiences Online. Have a good evening, everybody.